What's up, everybody? I'm Richard.
And I'm Shawn.
And we're speaking the language of Bromance. And today, Shawn, I'm not going to bury the lead because we spent all that time teasing people. So I'm not the kind of person that's going to, like tease at the end of an episode and then wait until the end of the next episode to do the big reveal. We're doing this right off the jump. We're not going to WandaVision fucking this podcast, Shawn. That's not how we roll.
No,
that's not
Richard,
how I roll.
I have got my hands on a PS5. We kind of went through our history of our gaming last episode, and this episode we're going to talk about how I got my hands on that beautiful, beautiful machine.
He's very happy. He's very excited.
So this was we kind of told you how we got involved with all the other machines and everything, but this one was definitely different, right? We're in a pandemic, so there's lots of stuff that make it difficult. If you were to tell me that I completely lucked out getting one too. They're not available right now. It's essentially you have to luck out. And I found a lot of my stuff, and you had mentioned this person was the at Wario 64.
Yeah.
You would watch his tweets like a hawk to try and get some kind of insight. I
don't know where the fuck he finds this shit, but he'll tweet it and he'll be like, "Hey, I think there's PlayStation 4s available on blah blah blah.com. Go."
Yeah. I heard they're going to be up in 15 minutes. Go.
Yeah. Yeah.
So Richard, I want to start this journey at the very beginning. And we'll talk a little bit about the actual machine, probably kind of towards the later of this episode, but we're all about the story, right? So the PS5 hunt. So I knew this thing was coming out in November. So I'd been saving up some money to get one pre-ordered because I wanted to pre-order one. I wanted one day of launch because I mentioned last, so I wasn't fully back into gaming, but I just kind of wanted to try to, and I thought getting one would spark that. But you getting me into Witcher really sparked that up. And you had a tease too. What was your tease?
Oh, my tease had to do with something completely. My tease had to do with online gaming. Okay. So, because earlier we were talking about the PlayStation 4, and I said there was one game before I became my PC fanboy. There was one game that brought me in to online gaming full force, and that was Destiny.
Yes, you were just telling me.
So there was a sale. I had not played Destiny at launch. I'm not I've played it since I played beta. I did the beta testing. Blah, blah, blah. I'm not one of those guys. I didn't buy it until there was an expansion called The Taken King, and it went on sale on Sony, and I was like, oh, that's $30. Why not? It looks like the story looks kind of cool. So I started playing it then. And the whole game is online, but a lot of it is single player. There's missions you do and stuff like that. And there are little 3-person teams that you go on little mini strikes with. But you don't talk to anybody or anything like that. So, but at one point I was like, I want to do a raid. I've never been on a raid. Now, not entirely true, but so my father was massively, and I mean he had notes, he had books, he was massively into EverQuest.
Oh yeah.
He played EverQuest so hard. He had a druid that was some crazy stupid level, and I'd played EverQuest a little bit, and the game was fun. But my problem was it seemed like wherever I lived, I couldn't get a decent internet connection.
Yeah, it's kind of like the WoW issue.
That was exactly. I also never got into WoW. Now I've been a gamer for years, but I never got into online gaming just because I never got a decent internet connection until Destiny. And then I finally got to do a raid. And so the way Destiny works is raids are 6, team of 6 people. So I finally, I got my little headset and my microphone, and I'm like, all right. And I went on Reddit and went to a looking for group subreddit and found a couple people that are like, hey, we're looking for 3 people to do this King's Fall raid. So I joined up with them. Shawn, it was the most fun I've had in fucking years.
That's awesome.
You're there, you're with 6 people, and you're everybody, like, the way a Destiny raid, especially King's Fall, the way that Destiny raid works is that there's a lot of combat and some mechanics that you have to do while you're, shooting and doing other shit. It's like, when this happens, you got to do this and make sure that, that this guy doesn't get to this point or else that wipes the team. So, but then in between these combat encounters, you have these platforming where you just like, you got to like jump around. You got to jump from here to here to here to here to get to the next spot. And there was this wall where as you're jumping, there's little things that would like shoot you out.
Yeah.
That would like knock you off your platform and like kill you. And so you just see everybody jumping around. And all of a sudden, just somebody goes, whee! Oh, it was so much fun. Like you sit there and you're talking with people, and like I made friends with that 6-man team. There's one person that was my first ever raid that I still raid with to this day, and that was
awesome.
Oh my God, that was almost.
It's gotta be like 3-4 years ago, wasn't it?
That was like 4 years ago.
Yeah.
Because Destiny, so I played Destiny was, strictly a console game. Destiny 2, they went to PC, and so I was like, well, I want the PC copy of Destiny 2. I was like, because then it'll be all pretty on my monitor. And I ended up finding the same guy that I raided with back on the PlayStation, and we still, like I said, we still raid together. We've done even the most recent raid together, and it's still raiding with a 6-man group, super fun because you're chit chatting on Discord and like everybody's being stupid and having a good time. It's so much fun.
I mean, it's a virtual like game day.
But Destiny is what got me back. Destiny is what got me into feeling okay about playing a game with other people. Yeah. Because the thing when it comes to playing, like, you don't want to look like an idiot, but then you realize, like, who the fuck cares?
Yeah, I think because I tried the GTA Online, and it's one of those that like people are just so good that when you get there and you're so low level, that it's just no fun. You're just constantly ice skating uphill, kind of thing.
Exactly, and you're constantly worried about it. But then I don't know. I think it's just you meet the right people, and then you realize that like it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
like if you're just with it matters who you're with. It doesn't necessarily matter what you're with, if that makes sense.
Well, if you're with a group like what you said, if one of the guys gets hit and they laugh at him, that's probably the group I'd want to play with. But if that happens, like, you fucking dumbass, you fucked us, get the fuck out of here. Like, all right, done with you guys. Block.
Yeah. It had me like I did a bunch of raids on D1, and that only ever happened one time where like I was with a group and we were going through and we couldn't get past this one encounter and couldn't get past it. And there was one point where like the team wiped and like I was still, shooting and killing things and everything was going fine. But this dude just like, you're a fucking blah, blah, blah. And then he bolts and then he exits out of the game. And I was like, I was in shock because I was like, holy shit, that's never happened before. Now I had done like 10s, 20, like almost a bunch of I would do like 2 or 3 a week for like months.
Yeah. So you're a person that's never played Call of Duty.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Exactly. And I'd always just like gone on the looking for, because I had such a good experience with it. Like I would always just go to the subreddit, find a group that needed a person, jump in, and off we went. And after doing this so many times, this was the first time something like that happened. And it like kind of shocked me.
Yeah, I could see it.
And I was like, what the fuck? And there was another person that was in that same group that was like, I don't know what the fuck just happened, but like that was really fucking uncalled for. And so that guy like messaged me privately. He's like, hey, I'm jumping in this other group. Just come with me. And I was like, oh, okay.
The guy
like I've honestly like it.
Not the guy who was a jerk, right?
Like, yeah, as much as you were like,
He's like, hey, I want you to follow me because I think you're a fucking noob and I want to fucking cuss you out more and talk about your mom.
Yeah, no, I followed him, and again, like everything was super great, but it was the first time that it ever happened. So I was like, oh my God, like I've encountered toxicity in online gaming. I was like,
yeah,
I really don't know what to make of this.
One thing I just learned, so PlayStation's really trying to, especially at this generation of console, really hammer down on that. Cause I don't do much online gaming, but I guess like Call of Duty and stuff is like super toxic.
I could 100% see it.
So so basically what they're doing is they're recording the last 5 minutes of the audio and stuff when you're playing. So if somebody does something like that, you can instantly submit it and be like, hey, this person's, being a bully or being, like obviously they're saying very racist or very, inappropriate things. They can get flagged.
Sure.
Because, I mean, you just don't need that stuff.
So yeah, out of Destiny, Destiny 2, Conan Exiles, No Man's Sky, Dark and Light.
I looked at No Man's Sky today. I don't know if it'll be a little bit probably before I get it.
They just added pets. You can get pets now.
Nice.
They just added that like yesterday.
Yeah, I think that's part of the PlayStation Now free stuff too. Because PlayStation they have the PlayStation Plus, where it's online gaming and you get like 2 free games a month. And they have the PlayStation Now, which is like their library of free games.
But yeah, there's games like Dark and Light, Conan Exiles, No Man's Sky, and the one I'm currently playing. I'm currently like sucked into Valheim.
Yeah, you talked about that.
Oh, it's so good. It's only $20. That game is so worth more than $20.
I told my wife about your situation where your guy died with all your stuff to build across the river. I was worried I was going to have to like really explain it to her, but she started laughing. I was like, that's my friend. Don't laugh at his horror. I was
so mad. Like 12 hours of work just down the fucking tubes.
Now I got to build a boat.
Now I got to... No. Now I have to go find the shit to build an axe to chop down the wood I need to build the boat.
How'd these Vikings ever make it?
Oh, my God.
But Richard, so I was saving up this money and getting really ready to buy this. This is like the PS5 hunt. And Sony had like a pre-order type thing. And like we talked about this, not really on here, but together. But, PlayStation announced the PS5 and they announced when it was coming out. But they didn't announce a pre-order. They announced they were doing one.
Yes.
And you could go to their site and submit for a chance to be able to pre-order.
Yes.
And so I did that. And, like it felt like, some of the rumors was it was going to be like a Thursday or Friday, didn't know a time. I'm out going for a walk, and Richard is just, I think you called me. I don't even think you texted me. I did call
you.
And I'm like 3 blocks from my house. You're like, hey, dude, like, I'm pretty sure the pre-orders are going live right now on Target and Walmart and GameStop.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, I mean, they said tomorrow.
It was GameStop because I saw there were people on Twitter posting receipts.
Yes.
That they had gotten a pre-order. So they had put the money out, the money had been accepted, and they've gotten a pre-order.
And it was, I mean, like when that happened, like, because Xbox, I think their video either happened the same day or the next day or somewhere in there. But Microsoft,
Xbox was like a week or 2 weeks after.
Yeah, and they kind of saw everything that happened. So they told the stores, like, listen, you fuckers aren't going to put this thing out for pre-order until this time.
Yeah.
Because I think Sony didn't really have that planned. So like GameStop and Target and Best Buy is like, oh, no, we're going to drop it now. Then it just like snowballed.
Yeah, it felt like Sony did not communicate. Well, because here's the thing is Sony, I remember, had their conference and they were said pre-orders go live at...
I don't think they said a date. I thought they just said...
They didn't set a date. They said pre-orders will go live at I think it was 3 p.m.
There was no time for sure. I don't think there was a date.
No, there was they didn't have a date. They had a time. And so then that made me go, I was like, what do you mean? I think it was 5 p.m.
Mm. And
so I was like, what do you mean 5 p.m.? I was like, it's noon now. I was like, but it's not. I was like, because it just said 5 p.m. I was like, it didn't say 5 p.m. Eastern. It didn't say 5 p.m. Pacific. It just said 5 p.m. I was like, well, it's 5 p.m. in Japan right now.
Yeah.
I was like, does that mean that they go live and then we have to wait until 5? I was like, what
does it mean? So basically, like with all this too, I listened to somebody talk about their pre-order experience, and I didn't realize that this was happening, and I don't think you do either, or you did either. But so like all this felt like it was very much going to be online only.
Yeah.
Apparently, some of the GameStops were taking pre-orders if you went into the physical GameStop.
Oh.
There was a guy I was listening to on it's the Trophy Room, I think it's called. It's a PlayStation podcast.
Okay.
And so he called GameStop, and the guy on the phone says, "Hey, this is GameStop. We're not taking PS5 pre-orders." And he's like, "Oh, crap. Well, that's what I was calling to see." And the GameStop employee's like, "Wait, what? Oh, never mind. We are, but we only have so many, so you have to get down here right now."
Oh, Jesus.
So that GameStop had like 20 or 25 physical pre-orders they were taking at that store.
Oh, wow.
So like with all this, like I said, I get back here to my house after you said that, hey, they're going live. I check Target, get one in my cart, hit place order, or I think I got it in my cart, like next, spin, nothing. Spin, nothing. GameStop, try it last, same thing. And then all of a sudden, like after an hour or so of kind of tinkering, out of stock. And this
was a shit show that I remember. Like it was a shit show that afternoon.
No, and I think this really kind of set up the scalper situation with this too, because everybody saw the demand. So like instantly people were posting the receipts saying, "Hey, I've got a receipt in hand. How much are you going to give me for this PlayStation?" And they were going for like $1,200, $1,400, $1,600.
Which is, you know what? Like if you're paying $1,400 for a PlayStation, like get fucked. Seriously, just go fuck yourself.
I mean, that's just somebody, because one, you either don't have that money and like probably need to like think about your priorities, or two, you have enough money where it's like, well, I want one now, so I'm going to do this.
Yeah. Either way, go fuck yourself.
But that's like there was a lot of confusion on that, and to me, like when it happened, I even told you, I was like, I didn't get one, but I'm not super concerned. Like I'm going to get one by December, right? I just couldn't fathom like not being able to get one fairly easily.
I think you were saying January. You were like, I'm gonna get one in January. I think is what you had figured. I think you were kind of waiting until after the Christmas season.
Well, so the pre-orders were in October, I think, for November. But when November's like the same thing was happening, you get like hey, Walmart's gonna have some, and 10 o'clock refresh, add to cart button, hit it. See it in your cart, out of stock.
Yeah, because launch day was the 19th, right?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
But basically, you were getting all these bots that were going through and constantly just kind of like taking them off. Yeah.
They just spammed and,
Because, and I think I've read that like 10% of all PS5 solds have been sold a second time. So basically scalpers. And you would see people posting on Twitter like their wall of like 30 different PS5s.
Yeah.
And you can't blame them. I mean, I think it's still kind of shitty, but
yes, you can. Yes, you can.
It's somebody who's got, so like you buy 20 of those and you're going to sell it for double. You've just made, what, $6,000?
Yeah, $10,000. Like people also sell blood diamonds from the Sierra Leone.
No, I'm not saying that I wouldn't say there's a special place in hell for them, but there's definitely,
you're a shitty person. Go fuck yourself.
And especially, it's like,
I'll say it.
And so like, when this first was kind of going, I was like, okay, December, probably all the shittiness was kind of going on. I'm like, well, before launch day, I was thinking, January. Surely I'll have one January. After launch day, I think it was probably more like the first part of December. I think I told you, I was like, I don't know when I'll get one.
Yeah.
I don't even know if it's possible to get one. Like it may be summertime.
Yeah.
Because I would, I check PS5 news and you might see like, oh my gosh, like they're available at Target. And I ran into so much of just like adding to cart hell.
Yeah.
With Walmart, Target,
I remember
Best
you
Buy.
would always like, I would be like, oh my God, you should go to Best Buy. And then I like 10 minutes would go by and then I get a frowny face. That would be the text back, would be a frowny face.
There was a couple times you sent that to me.
It
I was like,
didn't work.
Already tried, out of stock. And so it was kind of defeating because, and like the thing I love about like the experience I've got with my PS3, my PS4 was the walking into a store and being like, hey, do you have? And they're like, yes, we do.
Yeah.
It's like a big surprise. It's like a Christmas surprise.
Yeah.
Like spamming a website to see if they have stock or when you are told that they have stock and like just basically hoping on a wing and a prayer that you can add it to your cart in time is a pain in the ass.
Yeah, I 100% agree.
I think that
I'm hoping that the lessons are not forgotten so that this bullshit doesn't happen again.
Yeah, I don't know what's going to happen with all that. Because, you know, like I had issues with Walmart. I think I had one in cart twice at Walmart. One I had all the way to place order, but I didn't hit a checkbox by my address to say ship to this address or use this address. So it's like, oh, error. Do you want to use this address? Click it, place order, out of stock.
Fuck.
But this kind of all like when like looking through all this, like to me, I feel like I wish they, and you may not get this with consoles because they're kind of sold through different channels.
Mm-hmm.
But like Apple's iPhones, freaking super simple. You get on when they tell you to pre-order it. You place your pre-order, and you usually get it like the day it comes out.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna say like, and you know, like as much as I tout like PC gaming, and as much as I'm like, well, you know, fucking like you wouldn't have this problem when it comes to PC gaming. Nvidia released a new series of graphics cards, the 3000 series, the 3080s and the 3080 Ti's, and ran into the exact same fucking problems as the console launches when it came to selling graphics cards. And these graphics cards, I'm not sure, like Shawn, these graphics cards are retailing for like $1,200 fucking dollars.
Not cheap. Yeah, there's a couple of people I know that would set alerts and like it would go off like 2 or 3 in the morning and they jump on trying to get one.
Yeah.
Those video cards.
Yeah, trying to get a fucking GTX or RTX, an RTX.
Yeah, and so I don't know. I don't know what like the next generation of these will look like because obviously, hopefully, we'll be able to be physically in stores. So are we going to go more back into the lines? Or are they going to try and do more of a you pre-order it and then you just get it when you get it? And pre-ordering without being able to send it to you is its own ball of wax, right?
I honestly, I don't know if the problem's going to be fixed because if you look at it from the standpoint of Amazon or Walmart or Target, like they still made their money. People still bought the fucking consoles.
Oh yeah, they don't care. I mean,
so why do they give a shit?
I
like,
say that they
might
don't care.
Get a little pissed with them, like at the time.
They did do some things that I'll talk about, trying to alleviate the scalping. And that's probably, I think, one of the reasons I got one. But I mean, I think it's more of, you know, with the pre-order side, they want to get it out there, but like GameStop, they know maybe they're going to get 1,000. They don't want to take like 10,000 back orders on it because now they've got that money. Which realistically, I think the way a lot of that works is you can't charge that card until you actually send the product.
Yeah.
So now you've got outdated credit cards potentially if it's 3-6 months before you can ship it.
Yeah.
You got them charging back. Like it's a big pain in the ass to take pre-orders.
Mm-hmm.
But all of this, Richard, you know, I still was on like hoping. Like my PS3, I would walk into a store and there would just be one there waiting for me.
Just waiting ever so gingerly.
Yep.
Shawn, come find me. Come play with me.
I'm so lonely.
Please, Shawn.
Walked into a Walmart and I asked the guy, I said, hey, do you guys have any PlayStations? And he pointed me down to a sign, Richard, that said PS5s, new Xboxes, Switches will not be sold in stores. They are online only.
That's fucking... You know why? Because they don't want people punching each other in the face.
And that's been... And some of the stores that have had like a few come in, that's what's happened. Like people have to call the police because either A, it's somebody who really wants one. Because at this point, it is kind of frustrating, right? Like if you have the money to get one...
I think that would drive me even more crazy. Like you have the money, and you're just like, it's like, and you're just walking around with it in your hand, like, huh? And everybody's like, no, fuck off. And you're like, oh.
And like you see some dude with like 12 of them like next to a wall. It's like, oh, fucking yeah, I'm going to sell all these and buy more.
I'm going to sell these for double the price and buy 12 more.
And it's kind of like the thing where it was like the sign of insanity is doing the same thing, expecting a different result. So I walked into my Target at least 5 times just on the hope that there'd be one there. Walmart a couple times, GameStop not so much. And when all this started, I was pretty avid. Like, I don't want to buy one from GameStop because GameStop was one of the first ones to do bundles.
Yes.
And to me, I was kind of like, fuck you. Like, I don't want to buy your, stupid game.
I don't want to buy your console that you're going to package with a bullshit game that it's not going to sell.
Yeah, and then like a $20 gift card to your store.
Yeah.
And a bunch of BS. But after all this scalping stuff happened, Walmart started selling them just in bundles. But they were doing more of like, here's this console with Cyberpunk. Here's this console with NBA 2K. Here's this console with a $20 gift card. Here's the, so they had some decent bundles in there. But even then, like, a GameStop bundles, I think the starting point was like $700 or $800. So it was a pretty pricey penny.
That hurts.
Yeah. So all this, Richard, I'm waiting. My birthday comes and goes, and my sister gives me a gift card. So I'm like, listen, I'll start piecemealing this, right? So I go ahead and I buy me a controller. So I had a PS5 controller in my hands.
Yeah. And then you just sit on the couch and cry.
Yeah. And I hold it. And I'm like, I can feel the pain.
This haptic feedback's really something.
So, I mean, we're kind of getting like the shame of this. I see Walmart, they start spacing out their drops. So they'll release a few like every 10 minutes, which is the same thing. So basically you get annoyed multiple times. So at this point, I think I told you, like, I don't even know when I'm going to get one. So this is about like end of January, 1st of February.
Yeah.
I've kind of given up hope. Like, I poke through the sites every now and then, but I'm not like following it as close. But a couple of weeks before I actually got mine, I hopped on GameStop and they had some. And it was the situation where I was looking at for more than like 3 to 5 minutes and they were still available. Because what I was seeing is like within the first minute, they were gone.
Right.
So I'm looking, but it's like, all right, well, this is a bundle. It's $800. It's got a controller in it and a game I don't really want. So no, I'm going to wait. And then I'm like, well, no, okay, I will. Add to cart, walk through it, sold out. So we had talked last episode about how with video game consoles, I've always kind of had my significant other give me a lot of shade about it.
Yeah. I
told Tiffany about that. And what she told me, she was like, well, can't you just like sell the stuff you don't need? Almost giving me permission to go forward if this situation came up again.
Right.
Richard, about 2 weeks after that event, it did become available again.
Oh, shit.
So the light was shining. I visit GameStop. And even then, like, GameStop was kind of like the last like choice of mine, right?
The gods have coalesced.
And I flip open GameStop and I see a discless bundle, which I really wanted a discless one. And I pull it up. It says add to cart. I'm like, what other bundles do they have? I see they only have 3 at this point, and there's 2 disc versions and the 1 non-disc version.
Uh-huh.
Go back to the non-disc version, add to cart, sold out.
Damn it.
So I'm like, here it goes again. Shame, shame, shame.
It's time for my daily dose of rejection.
But I throw the disc version in it that came with an extra controller, NBA 2K21, Spider-Man, and a $20 gift card. Go through the checkout process. And I'm waiting, like, when I hit checkout, I have to put in my credit card information. I'm just waiting for that spin to say sold out.
Yeah.
But Richard, I get the congratulations. Your order has been completed.
Oh my God, you did it.
You would say that. You would say, oh my gosh, you did it. You should be happy, right? I'm like, no. I'm not going to believe that this is mine until it shows up at my front door. So I got it on a Tuesday. And it was supposed to basically be released the following Tuesday. So expected at my house 7 days.
Okay.
About 2 or 3 days later, it's like Thursday or Friday, get an email and they say, hey, your order is getting ready and it should be there on Sunday. I giggle. I'm like, you poor bastards. You're not going to ship this to me on Sunday. Like, it's going to be the end of next week. But Richard, Sunday, at my front door, FedEx drops off a box full of goodies.
There it is.
Oh, it was in my hands.
It came. It finally came. And so did you.
Oh, I was so excited. I opened it up. And my big my big fear, not really fear, but the thing that was kind of going to suck is, would I get that same feeling of like, oh my gosh, like I got one?
Yeah.
Because at this point, it's been 3 months. Very first world problems too, obviously.
So, 100%.
But it's been 3 months, and you're kind of like, is it going to feel more like, well, finally it's here, and you're almost going to be pissed at it? But I open it up, and you see the box, you pull it out, it's got the games in it, and it was a little cold, so I let it sit for a little bit to warm up. I'm like, welcome to your new home, buddy. Get it all unbundled.
This is the family.
My son tried to touch it, I smacked his hand.
Yeah. And then punched him in the face.
But it did. It gave me that good feeling of like, hey, it's here. And one of the things that's kind of interesting about this journey is anytime I bought like a new electronic, either it be a phone or my console, there's always like a couple hours between me getting it and me actually getting to use it.
Uh-huh.
So I don't know if it's just kind of like, again, like I shame myself, like you didn't really need to buy that thing. But with this one, got it unhooked, got it, like I said, let it sit for a little bit to warm up because it was like 0 degrees here when it showed up.
Oh, yeah.
Got it hooked up, got all signed in. Within probably an hour of it being at my door, we were playing.
That's nice.
Yes, Richard, it's one of the things that's interesting about the PS5. So now we're getting more into like my little review of it. I
was gonna say, like, I think it's review time now. Give me the review. So
one of the things I was kind of curious about is the look of it, because like you said, like all the consoles and stuff that I have always been kind of the black color, right? Like even Sega, I think I kind of want it because of that. Because
this one's got the white fins on it, and it kind of has that vajayjay look.
Yeah, it's got a little wave to it. But like black and blue has always been kind of my favorite color. So I was like, well, how am I going to feel about this white? And again, like, if you touch stuff with like the controller's white too. So, if you got something on it, it's going to show a lot of like stains and things like that. So I'm not sure about that part of it, but the console itself looks really, really good. It's super heavy.
I was going to say, it's a thick boy. It's a big boy.
I tried to, just tonight before we started, I tried sitting it upright and it won't fit in my cabinet.
Yeah.
So it's about like a foot and a half tall.
Yeah. Not surprised. It's a big boy. Big, thick boy.
But the controller. So I told you a little about this. So it came with a free game, which is something that I don't think's happened in a while. And it's called Astro's Playroom. Which
I gotcha.
Yeah, and
like
this game
a
really
preloaded one.
Yeah. And so Astro's Playroom isn't anything like super complicated. It's kind of like I've compared it to like Crash Bandicoot, but you're a robot and you're kind of running around.
Yeah.
And really what it does, like we're starting to get into it with my son because he can play it and it's pretty simple. It's very much kind of like going through like the history of PlayStation while showing you kind of the innards of the PS5.
Yeah, and yeah, it feels like it. I mean, it seems like from what I've seen of it, it seems like more of a tech demo than like a proof of concept or a tech demo / proof of concept.
Yeah, because you'll collect coins. The coins you can sell for, and we just found this out today, for like puzzle pieces.
Okay.
Or they have these what they call artifacts. And what the artifacts are like old PlayStation things. Like you get like the PS Vita, you get the
nice.
PlayStation 4. So you kind of get like to see like the history of PlayStation.
Yeah.
But yeah, you get the feel for what this haptic controller can really do. So
yes, was it like I need to know about this controller because I was saying like I'm always waiting for that, like I need that game that like kind of puts its hooks in me to be like, well, I wanna get one so I can play this thing. But honestly, for me, when it comes to this PlayStation 5, and I'm not 100%, I would say I'm much less of a Sony fanboy now than I was, not because of anything, Sony particularly did. It's just, that not really, I could care less between Sony and Microsoft which console I would pick up. However, this PlayStation 5 controller is what is the thing that kind of has my ears perked up and has me leaning that way in the event I do want to get another console.
Yeah, and I hope a lot of the games build to use it because like this Astro's Playground really kind of shows you a lot of it. So It's got, because like you remember, I think it was PS3. The big thing with that controller was kind of the just the movement of it. Because I think they had some kind of like dragon riding game where you could kind of like loop the controller, like you could move your hands, and that played back into it.
Oh yeah, yeah. I can't think of what it was though.
But every other game company was like, "This is stupid. We're never going to use it." But so the cool thing with this haptic feedback controller is like, yeah, as you're going through like grass and stuff, you can kind of feel the ripple down the controller. Or if you're in water, you can kind of feel the wave a little bit. It's not, I wouldn't say like, some people have told me like it feels like grass. In the Astro game, I didn't really get that, but it's just more if you can feel what like the movements would be.
Okay.
In general, too, it is a hefty controller. So the PS4 DualSense controllers, they are just this plastic kind of thing.
Yeah.
You feel like if you drop it, it's going to break. The PS4 or PS3. This guy feels pretty heavy. It feels like you could drop it. It's going to hold on to itself pretty well.
Okay.
So it's got kind of a thick girth to it. It's, feels good in your hand. The triggers, so they basically have resistance built into it based off what you're doing.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So if you're playing Witcher, because it's not built in, if you're just like regular click, 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 no resistance.
Yeah.
In the Astro game, you shoot a bow and arrow. So as you're pulling it back, there's more and more resistance as you're pulling back that bow.
Oh, that sounds nice. That sounds pretty kind of dope.
It's pretty sweet. Like they have other pieces where like you're in a suit and you're climbing up, so you have to kind of move it and click it. And so each one of those you hold on to this like roller coaster thing. You can feel the ripples, not in the controller, but in the actual triggers.
Oh,
it's like
nice.
what your hands would be. Yeah. So I'm pretty happy about how this controller has worked out.
Okay.
The mic on it works pretty well, especially in the Astro game. And I haven't tried it yet, but I've seen where you can actually plug normal headphones into the controller. And
my kids do that with the play, because the PlayStation 4 I think has the same thing. Like it's got ports on the bottom of it. You can plug in a headset or whatever. Yeah. But yeah, my kids do that. So that way, like if my wife is, wanting to chill on her phone or chilling out on the couch and, just wants peace and quiet, and my kids want to play something on the TV, then they'll just plug in the headphones, mute the television. Yeah. And
I've tried that on the PS4 and haven't had much luck, but this feels like it's built a little bit more to handle that.
Okay.
Gameplay wise, the UI looks really good. Like I said, the games I've played mostly Witcher on it.
How do the menus and everything look? Does it seem pretty seamless? And like when it comes to things like, like menu settings and stuff like that, and your social hub and other stuff, like how does that stuff look?
So the settings page is pretty much the same as the PS4.
Okay.
But the actual like home screen it took a little bit to get used to. But it's definitely a lot more kind of geared towards like social stuff. So like you can move down, you can see people playing games, you can see news based off games that you play.
Oh, nice.
They've got, I think PS4 has this, but you can get Spotify and have it play your playlist in the game and while you're watching it.
PlayStation 4 had that. You could stream, you could simul stream Spotify into your into your your television. And also, I think you could also with a couple buttons, I think you could stream to a Twitch channel if you have it linked.
Yeah, I think that's the same setup here. It does feel a little bit it seems more seamless than the PS4 on the home screen.
Okay,
it took a little bit to get used to, but I like so like on the PS4 when you hit the PS button, that's where you get your menu for like shutting down and stuff like that.
Right.
With this, it's a single click and it takes you more to like a menu of just like media options and shutting down if you want to. So that works out pretty well. The one thing that kind of was interesting, so I got Miles Morales, the PS5 version, and just watching some videos on this, but it actually started as the PS4 version of the game.
That's weird.
And so, yeah. But if you go on there, you can hit your options button on there and you can select the version to play. So like, I'm guessing with like Cyberpunk, when there's a PS5 version, that's what I can do in there is like to say, hey, play the PS5 version of it.
Well, I mean, there is technically a PS5 version. It's just that Sony's not selling it.
Well, I don't think there's not a next gen upgrade yet, right? It's just a PS4.
No, there's a PlayStation 5 version that was available. Like you could get it off of the Sony store until Sony pulled it off of the store.
Well, I thought I saw that they didn't have the next gen upgrade out until later in the year.
So the PS5 version, I believe, is not it's not an optimized version. It's not optimized for the next gen console versions of Cyberpunk are not optimized for next gen consoles. So you're basically playing the shittier you're basically getting the shittier version.
Yeah, you're playing the PS4 version.
Right. So the next gen update, which will optimize the game for next gen consoles, that won't be out until I'm guessing it looks like, according to their very vague roadmap, it looks like it won't be available till probably like October at the earliest. I'm going to guess probably late November is what it looks like.
So I pre-ordered Cyberpunk, so I think it's in my library.
Yeah, but I don't think I don't think you can get it because, like I said, Sony pulled it off of the store.
You can't buy it, but I can still download it because I've already bought it.
Okay.
So if I was to download that on my PS5, if I was to say like, oh, which version do I want to play, it would just show PS4 as the version. But once that next gen upgrade comes out, then I should see two options there.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Miles Morales. So once I set it to PS5, it played pretty well. It had some good haptic feedback to it as well. Graphics looked really good. I've played mostly Witcher on my PS5 as well because that's the game I was really invested in.
Yeah, because that's what you were playing, and so that's what
And
you want to finish it.
It looks good. It looks a little bit better.
You want to find out what happens with Geralt and Ciri.
Oh, dude, I just found a brothel too.
Oh,
yeah.
What did you do with the brothel, Shawn?
I tried to talk all those ladies into bettering their lives.
Yeah,
with my penis.
Did that work at all?
I mean, yeah.
Proud of you.
My wife, she's watched a few times, and I was telling her like there was like 2 or 3 like sexy like things happen where you saw some boobs or something.
Yes, you sleep with, I don't know if anybody knows this, but in Witcher you sleep with other people. I don't think that's like spoilery or anything. You fuck other characters in this game.
So I would tell her about that, and she was telling me last night. She's like, whenever I'm out here, nothing like sexy ever happens. And so I found this brothel today. So I told her about, I'm like, oh, you're gonna see some sexy.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the thing I've noticed the most is like the sunlight, like the sun flares are a lot more intense on my PS5 than they were on the PS4.
Oh, okay.
And the graphics do look a lot better. The controller, I don't know if it's just taking a little bit to get used to, but it is a little bit not difficult, but you can tell it's like not as smooth.
Oh, yeah, I could see that. I mean, I get like we're talking about, the current. We're talking about next gen hardware. Playing a game that's at this point 7 years old.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously it's going to play, but it's I'm sure it's probably gonna seem a little hitchy. Just because it's a 7-year-old game.
Yeah, and there's not been anything that has felt like it's messed up my gameplay experience. There'll just be times where like you spin around real quick and like maybe you're looking up too high or you're looking at the wrong direction.
It'll kind of blur a little. You'll get a little bit of motion blur. Or?
No, there's no motion blur. It's just kind of where you're like the sensitivity on the triggers are the
okay.
Those pieces are a little more sensitive, so you spin a little bit too much one way or the other.
Okay.
Stuff that once I play with it a little bit more, I would get more used to.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense.
But yeah, did you have any other questions that you wanted to kind of know about the game?
So, okay. So, I'm curious out of the games that are out now, I was going to run through a few and see like, if there were any that you're like really kind of itching to play. So let's see what is. I'm trying to see what's available for the PlayStation. Okay, I think launch titles. You had Miles Morales, which you said you've played and you liked, and I've seen people play. I've seen a lot of Miles Morales, and it looks pretty good. So right now I'm just going off the launch title list.
Yeah, I think launch title wise, the only one that I'm probably going to play is that Miles Morales.
Okay.
And the main reason
you don't want to give Demon Souls a shot?
Probably not.
The Demon Souls remake looks good. And I never got into a lot of the Souls games, Demon Souls, Dark Souls. Like I didn't get into those cuz it's definitely like the Souls games are definitely like a game that you play if you want a challenge. Like if you get enjoyment from getting a big challenge and then overcoming it.
Yeah, I think my big goal in terms of game wise, Witcher, I'm going to try and finish up. Something cool with, so I didn't realize this until I kind of got into it. So I got PS Plus around November, mainly so I can move some of my saves more easily because I can upload my saves into the cloud and then download them onto my PS5.
Yeah, definitely.
But if you have PS Plus and a PS5, you get their PS Plus collection, which consists of quite a few games that I've wanted to try, i.e. Batman Arkham Knight.
Ooh, yes. Wait, Arkham Knight is the third one, correct?
I don't know which one it is.
Because there was Arkham Asylum, and then Arkham City, and then Arkham Knight, I believe, is the third one. Which honestly was kind of my least favorite out of the three.
Oh, really?
Well, okay, so it was my least favorite out of the three. It has a cool thing, which is the Batmobile. In Arkham Knight, you get the Batmobile, so you can drive around the city in the Batmobile, which is super rad. However, there's a lot you do with the Batmobile, like there's vehicle combat and stuff like that you do with the Batmobile. That I don't know, like blowing up other cars in your Batmobile, like. For me personally, like I wasn't really getting a lot of enjoyment out of that. I'm the kind of like when I play the Arkham games, I like to sneak around and choke people out.
Yeah, it's like a mix between Witcher and Hitman. You use like your Batman Witcher sense, if you will.
Yeah, you use your Batman powers and fucking like snag people and hang them from statues and shit. Yeah, that's my Batman.
See, God of War's on there. I've never played that. Infamous was one there too.
God of War are we talking the original God of War, or are we talking the?
It's the one with the kids, so the one from 2018.
Okay, because that's available on that was one of the last games that you had for the PlayStation 4. If there was a game that would want me to get back, or not get back into console playing, but a game that I would play or get for my PlayStation 4 to play, it would be that. Because I saw some people like it. That game looks gorgeous.
Oh, I thought you played it.
No, I didn't. I never did. That game looks gorgeous, has a great story, and cool mechanics. I've played the other games in the series, but God of War looked really good. I would give God of War a shot.
Yeah, it's on my list because basically I can like not download them, but get them in my purchased cart.
I would say
free.
I would say do God of War before you touch the Arkham game.
Yeah, that's the only. So of these,
I would put this at the top of your list.
Yeah, I left off the one I kind of tinkered with. It was one I wanted to try, but it's the biker zombie game Days Gone.
Oh,
it's one that's free on here too. I only played like the very beginning intro of it.
Yeah.
So that one I might tinker with a little.
That one looked okay. It looked like the first like probably 10 hours looked a little slow.
Yeah, I haven't. That's one of those games that like looked really cool, but I never heard many people talk about it.
Yeah, it looked like the first like 5 to 10 hours were a little slow, but then it kind of picked up.
But the game, so, when I talked about my bundle that I got, and this kind of made me, I don't know if I'd say I like GameStop better now, but, kind of like, again, like whenever you get into like that, like I love the comic book shop feel of a GameStop.
Yeah.
And
you like the shop.
Yeah.
Would you buy stock in the shop?
If I could go back in time, Richard, I would buy a lot of stock and sell it on a very specific day. So, one of the questions I had, so I got this bundle and I got NBA 2K21, which I was not going to play. I've only had one NBA game on my PlayStation Live, and it was okay, but it's just not my thing.
Yeah.
So I went to GameStop to try and take it back.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a very interesting kind of, like, I think this is like the epitome of what a GameStop is now. So I show up and I've got this game still wrapped, and there's nothing on it that says like do not sell or return or nothing, like it just looks like a game.
Yeah, yeah.
I sit it on the counter. I'm like, I would like to exchange or get GameStop like a gift card or whatever for this game.
Yeah.
Both guys behind the counter look at me and say, well, we can't do that. It's still wrapped.
Oh. So
And
what,
so
they thought you stole it?
Well, yeah. So I kind of looked at them. I'm like, what do you mean? Like, it just did not compute. Like, I would feel like this is how you would return a game.
Yeah.
And they said,
ideally, this would be the way to do it.
Yeah. So, well, it's store policy. We can't take a game back if it's still wrapped. And like, they're both staring at me and I'm staring at them just dumbfounded. Like, it just, like, I'm trying to process what they're saying.
Because you're thinking like, do I need to walk out this door, unwrap it, and then walk back in here?
Yeah. I was like, do I need to unwrap this right now? Like, this feels kind of dirty.
They're like, well, it's a brand new game. And then you unwrap it. And you're like, okay. And they're like, $10.
Yeah. And so I don't remember if one of the other guys kind of said this or I said it, because, like, again, this little part's a blur, but I was kind of like, but I have the receipt.
Yeah.
And that's when the guy's like, oh, it's a return. That's a completely different thing. I was like, oh, okay. And like this whole time I'm like,
oh, so it's yours, you didn't steal it.
Yeah, this whole time I'm like, are you guys just fucking with me? You know what's going on right now? But I got it returned and I got the money back for the amount that it was, because they basically itemized it on the bundle.
Oh, okay.
So
okay,
I got my $50 for it. And so I went ahead and used that money to get the Jackie Robinson edition of the MLB The Show for this year.
Oh, okay.
So I got that game pre-ordered.
Again, I am not a sports game guy, but I know you are. So all the power to you, my brother.
And I kind of not really splurged, but since I wasn't going to probably get cash back for that, that's why I went ahead and just got that, because I didn't want to sit with like I'll wait for some game to come out. It's like, well, this is one I know. I'll go ahead and get it.
Okay.
And be on my way. The one interesting tidbit, before we kind of go into the last thing I want to talk about, GTA was not free on this console.
Oh, no.
Because I remember when we talked about, like, when they were releasing it, weren't they going to give GTA out for free with like X number of coins or X number of dollars a month?
Yeah, yeah, you're right.
I went and looked. There's like you have to pay for the full game, and I haven't seen anything come out saying like, oh, hey, here's your free version of GTA.
Well, what the fuck?
I know I haven't researched it too much, but I've also heard rumors that the new GTA is going to come out this year. So fingers crossed.
Somebody's getting a curt note.
Yeah, I want this. Take back this PlayStation 5, and GameStop's like $12. But Richard, as we're kind of coming to the end of how I got this PS5 and how I have it in my hand, I was kind of wanting to see what your thoughts would be of the future of consoles and gaming. You know
what? I actually do have a thought on this. I would say the thing that I'm actually happy for console gamers, because again, as the vegan of the gaming community, high on my PC master race tower, I would say that finally, after 30 plus years, finally, I would say that the next gen consoles are finally on par with a mid-tier gaming PC. For the first, like, a mid-tier gaming PC and a PlayStation 5 and even a mid-tier gaming PC and a Series X, I would say, are finally on the same level. And that's the first time that's happened in ever.
Yeah, because usually they were like definitely a step down.
Exactly. I mean, they've always been at least a step down.
Mm-hmm.
And so now you're able to have console players, be able to play a game at, play even an older game at 60 frames per second, 1080p, which is what PC players have had for years.
Yeah.
And I think that's really cool. I think it's cool that finally it finally feels like everybody's kind of on the same playing field. I guess what I'm hoping for now is that there's more connectivity between gamers in general, that more third party developers that make games that might involve other people do more cross-gen, cross-play stuff. I mean, you take a game like No Man's Sky. No Man's Sky is completely cross-play. PC players can play with PlayStation 4 players, can play with PlayStation 5 players, can play with Xbox players. And I think that's really cool. And I think that we need to see more of that. I think that the gaming community is finally they're not segregated by hardware anymore.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I agree with that.
For the first time in ever. And I think that's a very cool thing. So as much as I liked to always like shit on, fucking PlayStation 4, I'm going to sit here with my 3 monitors, fucking noob. Like I won't do that or can't do that anymore because you're on par. PlayStation 5 performs as well as a mid-tier gaming PC. I would for the same price, if not maybe a little bit cheaper.
Yeah. So do you think we're getting into a state where, so this is kind of a question with these consoles, is they've come out with a digital only version. Do you think we're getting closer to a digital only console where that's all they offer?
Well, I mean, I don't know if that's all they offer.
So like thinking like the next Xbox, PS6, will we just see a digital version only of those?
I'm going to say no. And the reason I say that is because we still don't have a infrastructure, like just a general infrastructure that could handle everybody needing their consoles online. Like there's a reason that some people buy discs is because maybe they live out in the fucking boonies and they have a bullshit internet connection. And so they have to buy the disc.
I think in 8 years, I'm going to probably say yes. I think the next version of those will not have a disc. I think this was a trial run for that. And the digital versions have been selling a lot more or a lot quicker.
I think maybe elsewhere in the world, but I think when it comes to the US, I think you're going to need to see a substantial investment in our telecommunications infrastructure before something like that happens. And the reason I say that is because you look at like Google Stadia, which was like, oh, you could play this anywhere and all the games are in the cloud and you just stream the game to your television or to your PC or whatever. You just stream it. You just stream the game to your device and then you can play it. Yeah. Google Stadia is shit.
I don't think you're going to get that. I don't think
you can't play a first person shooter like Destiny, for example. You can't play that on Stadia because there's like almost a half-second delay. How the fuck are you going to play a first person? How are you going to play like a PvP match where you're running a half-second delay? It's like playing a game. It's like trying to play a game where you've already shot yourself in the fucking foot.
Yeah, I think you won't. I'm not saying the next version of these will be a streaming only device. I just meant digital in terms of there won't be a disk drive. You have to download the game onto your machine. Those people that you talk about that are in the boonies, like I feel like that's like there are still pockets out there, but it's getting less and less. And in 8 years, I think it's going to be even further less.
I mean, I hope so. But
I mean, my folks live in the middle of nowhere, and they're about to get fiber.
Yeah.
And I think what you'll probably see is there might be some like third party, like, here's how you could do that. But I think those people are just going to get left in the dust, which is, it sucks for them. But, I don't know what the percentage of it, but if it's, 5% of your gamers, have to have a disc. Well, I mean, even then, like I thought about this, like you think of all the updates and stuff that happen on like just your PlayStation UI in general. Like you could be sitting there with a UI.
I mean, that's true. But I mean, like a UI update, a 50 megabyte UI update is far different from a, 40 gig or, in some cases, 60, 70 gig game download. Yeah.
You're waiting 2 weeks before you have your whole game.
Right.
Or you're taking it into work and using it there. And the last thing we touched on a little bit was the game price increase to $69.99. I was curious about your thoughts on that.
I mean, if there's one thing that PC still has over console gaming is the games are still cheaper. So I'm actually really surprised that the prices haven't equalized yet. Like I just looked at No Man's Sky. It's retailing on the Sony store for like $40 or like $45, and on Steam right now it's $30.
What was the difference?
There's no difference. There is literally zero difference.
No, what was the price difference?
Oh, like $15 bucks.
So on PlayStation it was how much?
It was like 44, 45.
Oh, I just thought I saw on stuff for like 30 something.
I don't know. I just Googled No Man's Sky PS5 and went to on the PlayStation store right now. It's retailing for $44.99, and right now on Steam it's retailing for $29.99.
So $15 difference. Yeah, I don't know what the difference is on that. I don't know if that's just the markup from Sony.
I don't know either. But I'm saying, like, when it comes to that, like, I think that, like, that's what I don't understand. Like, why is there a difference? Because it's the exact same. It's the exact same content. It's the exact. It's the same.
Yeah, but I mean, it's the same thing. Like, a gallon of milk, the same gallon of milk at Walmart may cost $2 cheaper than what it is at Target.
I mean, you're absolutely right.
So I don't know if that'd be interesting to understand though. Like I would, if I'm guessing, that's probably Sony's markup, and maybe Steam is giving more directly to the developers.
Maybe, I don't know, but they're both off. I mean, it's for both things. It's a digital download, so I guess I'm wondering. I think that I'm fine with a $70 price tag, to be honest. I mean, obviously it's going to create I think that if you're going to chart, if we're going to start throwing out $70 price tags, then I think we need to start seeing $70 worth of product.
Do you feel like you're seeing that though? Like Cyberpunk, would you say that? I mean, that's a $70 game right now.
No, not in the state it's currently in.
Well,
it's not. In the state it's currently in, there's no way that should retail for $70. I feel like, I mean, I get that, they're like, hey, all the updates are free, and updates are free, patches are free, and DLC will be free. Like, that's cool, but you can't sell you can't sell that game for $70 right now. If they're including like a collectible thing, like, hey, you get this cool statue with it, I'd be like, oh, okay, that's different. If you're gonna put out a buggy piece of shit, it's not right for you to charge $70 to put out a buggy piece of shit.
I know the way you talked about it, you didn't really have that many issues. At least when we talked, did you find more towards the end, or?
No, I mean, I had little bugs here and there, but then again, I have a higher I'd say a mid high tier PC. So that's what the game was. When CD Projekt Red coded that game, they coded that game for a machine like mine. They didn't code it for a PlayStation 4, hence the problems that you've had.
Yeah.
Where shit just breaks. So I think if you're gonna retail $70, then it needs to be a thoroughly tested, quality controlled, large lump of content for $70.
Yeah. So are there any games? I'm trying to think.
And also for $70, you're not allowed to release a game that is, this is early access or this is the beta, and then you pay $70 for it, and then 2 weeks later it's like, okay, well, this is version 1.01. Like that's not right. That's not right either.
The Miles Morales game I got, it's $70, but you get Miles Morales and you get the remastered Spider-Man game. So I'm wondering if you're going to start seeing bundles like that.
Well, and also you're getting, you're getting a fairly QA'd experience.
Yeah, because that's again, a Sony product.
Yeah. I mean, you're getting a fairly QA'd experience. Like you're not, things like bugs and crashes, like you don't see a lot of. I mean, I'm sure, you get them occasionally, but if I'm basically, I guess I'm saying that if I'm paying $70, then I need to see that $70.
Yeah. I guess I'm the kind of gamer too. Like I won't pay for a brand new game unless I'm really, really excited for it.
Right.
Otherwise, and why I think I'm okay with $70 is because, you're like, a lot of these games that get released within 6 months, they drop down anyway, the digital versions of it. So you can go to the Sony store and get, like, obviously Witcher was 6 or 7 years old, but you get a game like that's $15, or you get one. I think I got Far Cry for like $20.
Yeah.
You can get those kind of deals.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the people that are paying $70, that are paying full retail, I mean, they're buying it because they really, really want it.
Yeah.
And I guess I'm just saying that, like, at that point, if you're gonna charge $70, then I need to see it, because otherwise, like, I'm just gonna wait for a price drop.
Well, yeah, like I'm curious when they come out with the next Witcher or whatever they do next, how much this Cyberpunk's gonna hurt that, because I think you're probably gonna see a lot less pre-orders. A lot more people waiting, because that's the reason I pre-ordered, because like you talked, like Witcher was really good. It had its issues in the beginning, but they got ironed out pretty quick. Yeah.
Witcher on release, Witcher was pretty buggy. But again, like, you have games that are, that I bought early access and that, that were fairly solid. I bought Hades when it was early access. I paid $20 for it. I bought Hades, which is this roguelike game where you're the son of Hades and you're trying to escape the underworld. I paid $20 for that game, and it was an early access game, but it looked kind of fun. That game was fantastic and worth every single penny. And that was $20. There's that game I'm playing now, Valheim, $20. Like, if you can put out a $20 game and have it be really high quality and really, and really good, solid content, and then say, hey, we've only put out, this is only 40% of the entire of all the content we're putting out, and you're going to get it.
So for $20, you got 20 to 30% of the game, and if you spent more, you got the rest of it?
No. With Hades, I paid $20 for early access. I got the game. Everything that got added into the game later, the other 60% of the game that got added later, totally free.
What was the price tag once all that stuff was out there?
I think it went up to like 30, 35.
So basically, you were kind of like the Kickstarter for it.
Kind of, yeah.
That makes sense.
Which I'm totally fine with. There's a Pathfinder game coming out this summer called Wrath of the Righteous that's coming out this summer for PC. I put in $40 on the Kickstarter for that.
Yeah.
Like, I'm fine with paying for early access. And I know that when Baldur's Gate 3 right now is an early access, alpha/beta. And Baldur's Gate 3 is kind of a buggy mess. It crashes. It's got tons of bugs in it. But I know that's what's going to happen because it's an early access alpha beta.
Yeah.
And they're saying, we're not actually releasing this game for another year.
Yeah. You're basically wanting to be up front. You don't want early access to be you buying the full game. You want early access to be actually early access.
I don't want early access to be a complete buggy mess, and then 2 weeks later they say, "Oh, this is version 1.01."
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's bullshit.
Yeah, that's where I think a lot of these smaller companies kind of have to do like you said with the one because they have something that's close. They can at least get like some money, get that revenue coming in, then they can finish it. Like with CD Projekt Red and what they did with this, I mean, like, what do you think is going to happen with like Witcher 4 when it comes out? Because I think that would probably be their next game.
That I think is probably the next thing they're going to work on. But however, like Cyberpunk needs fucking work.
Yeah, well, I think there's two different teams kind of split. I think they got some that cross it, but like Cyberpunk, they were working on since like what 13 or 14. Maybe earlier. Was it like 2011?
Yeah. I think they started working on it pretty much right around the end stage of Witcher 3.
Yeah.
Is when they were really, or when they started development. But I don't think they started really coding until like maybe 3 years, three and a half years before release.
Yeah. I don't know. It's like that game I've got pre-ordered, so I spent the $60 or $70 on it. I think it was 60 I got it for. Which, I'm waiting for the next gen.
Yeah, I mean, I did a 100-hour playthrough of it, and I had fun. It was a good time. I do want to do another playthrough, but I'm gonna wait. I'll wait for more patches. I'll wait for bug fixes. Or I'm like, they need to do some significant work before I do an eventual second playthrough.
I do know some people that played it on the new Xbox, the new next-gen Xbox, and they said that they had hardly any issues.
Yeah.
So I think it is just a PS4 previous Xbox.
Well, I mean, Sony are the ones that pulled it from the store. Microsoft didn't. Microsoft did not pull it from their store. You can still go on the Microsoft store and buy it. Sony's the only one that pulled it off their retail service.
Was Xbox the previous gen Xbox? Did it have as many issues, or did they just?
I think it was just as bad. Yeah.
Interesting. Because I could see why Sony would do that. Because it's like, listen, nobody has a PS5, so anybody or most people, like, there's not that many PS5s out there.
Yeah.
So most people that are getting this are getting it on a PS4, and they're going to hate it.
Yeah.
I had Witcher for 1, and 2, I was wanting to wait for a PS5 for it because it felt more like a next gen game.
Well, I think CD Projekt Red would agree with you.
Like, no, just keep it. I'm like,
just wait. Just wait.
Wait, I can return this? No. Just keep it.
No, just hang on.
Hold on to it.
Hang on. Hold on.
Which I thought about, like, 'cause I know I could have returned it or got money back for it, but I figured if I'm just gonna have to spend $60 on it in 6 months anyway, like, it may go down, but
it might. But I mean, I feel like it's not going to significantly go down for probably a year.
Yeah, if they're going to add that DLC and stuff for free, they're probably going to keep it at that level.
Well, especially the PlayStation 5 version. Like, I'm sure you could probably, find a bargain bin where it's sitting for the PS4 version, but you're going to get an unplayable fucking shit show.
Yeah, which I don't know if you got the disc version, if you're going to get the free upgrade too or not. That's the other thing that's been kind of interesting with some of this. Like, most of the stuff, it sounds like you will get the free upgrade, but I have a feeling you're going to get some games where you're not.
Yeah. That's eventually going to fade out.
Yeah. Which, I mean, I'm curious about your thoughts on this. Like, let's say, I'm trying to think of a game. Like, let's say Witcher. They're going to have a PS5 version of it, but they say, hey, you can play the PS4 version of it on your PS5. But if you want the PS5 version, it's going to cost you $10 more. Like, I'm a person that I'm fine doing that.
I'm fine with it, but again, like show me 10. Like, if all you're doing is throwing a fucking HD texture pack on, like, that's not $10 worth of work.
No, I mean, if it
I could go online. I could go online right now and download an HD texture pack mod for my PC copy of The Witcher that would far and away blow. Like make that game look fucking gorgeous.
Yeah, and I mean, you'd have to.
And that's something that somebody worked on in their spare time that's offering it to me for free. So if all you're gonna do is say, "Hey, we're putting on this HD texture pack," and so that way you can play it at 4K or 1440, like. That's not $10 to me. That's not $10.
It depends. I don't think you'd get any more content for that $10. You would just get more the bells and whistles of a PS5 or a next gen console for that $10.
Yeah, like Blizzard recently announced that they're putting out Diablo 2. They're doing a HD remaster of Diablo 1 and 2 that you can play together, and I don't know what it's retailing for. But I don't know, you're doing an HD remaster of a, 15-year-old game. That's kind of different because not only are you making it look good, you're not only putting like, an updated art style on it, but like a game that old, you need to up, you're doing UI changes. You're probably doing like gameplay changes. Like you're kind of doing like a top to bottom rebuild.
Yeah, it's essentially kind of almost a new game.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. It just kind of depends. I mean, like I said, with Witcher, if it was, I mean, the way it looks now, like I'm not a big looks guy either. Anyway, like I'm more for the story.
Yeah.
So if it was just like what you said, like if I can't really tell by just looking at it, like it's not going to like blow my mind and I wouldn't spend it. But if they're going to give me some haptic feedback and, actually use that new controller, and if they had new content, then I'd be definitely in even more. But
yeah,
I'm trying to think if there's any game, like even the baseball games, I probably wouldn't do something like that because in a year or two, I'm going to get a new one anyway, because there's not really a life cycle or not really like a longevity to those.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, it's interesting times for sure. Like you said, PCs and the consoles are getting closer and closer in comparison.
Yeah.
Crossplay, I hope, is like you said, Destiny 5.
I really hope that needs to be I think that needs to be something that gamers in general demand more.
It's something you're hearing a lot more of the serious gamers asking for.
Yeah. Well, I mean, because now that everything's kind of on the same level playing field, like that's just something that needs to happen.
Yeah. Well, in terms of like Microsoft really doesn't care too, right? Because like PC, Xbox,
Sony's really the only one that's kind of like, oh, I don't know, guys.
Yeah, and I know Sony, it sounds like they're starting to open up a little bit with that. But yeah, if they hold on to that too tight, you've kind of just made yourself too isolated.
Well, and also like you're talking about like Microsoft, like, yeah, why wouldn't Xbox play and PC play nice together?
Yeah, it's basically just it's Microsoft's personal PC. They're building the gaming PC for you.
Yeah,
but yeah, and I wonder like is that the next thing? More online gaming. I'm kind of an old man when it comes to that, but is that kind of becoming more and more the norm?
It's fine, Sean. We'll play Destiny. We'll do a raid together. It'll be good times.
All right, as long as we do it before dinner and bedtime. So we have to do it at 5 and be done by 5:30.
You're such an old man.
Because I go to bed at 6:30. Well, Richard, I had a great time talking about this journey we went through, and even some like kind of more futuristic discussions on gaming. So why don't you give me some Richard's closing thoughts?
I'm glad that my friend likes what I like, and I can't wait to hear about the next thing he's gonna buy.
Oh.
I'm curious. I'm waiting for him to get done with Witcher and then be like, well, what should I play next? And then Oh, I really like this. What should I play now? And then it just spirals out.
Yeah, and my son's getting.
I'll get him there, guys. Don't worry. I promise.
I've got probably like 3 or 4 years once my son gets old enough that I can play before he goes to bed. Then I'll probably be doing a bunch of stuff. So, but Richard, as we're kind of closing this up so I can play till 4 in the morning, let me do a little bit of housekeeping. Visit our website, we're at languageofbros.com. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at languageofbro. Email us at bros@languageofbros.com. And we don't always kind of push this too hard, but again, we like to thank everybody who jumps into our Patreon, throwing a couple bucks our way if you really enjoy our show. And we always like to thank our 2 patrons, Wendy and Aaron.
You guys are so great.
All right. Well, is there anything else before I close her out?
No, I'm good.
All right. Well, that's all the Bromance for this show. I'm Shawn.
And I'm Richard.
And remember, don't be a why.
Be a why not.
Player 2 has entered the game.
It's about time. It's high noon.